Welcome to my craft room. Vanessa Baker here, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Auckland, New Zealand. I recently taught as a guest designer in a class for my mother, and she had the little sweet boxes that she wanted me to use to as a project for her group. So I found some inspiration from a lady called Christy Grindley in the US, and she had made the little box into a holder for a gift card and some little tags and a small card, and I thought that was a great use for the box. My mum had already bought some chocolates for the box, so instead of doing the tags that Christy did, I used the chocolate and did the gift card holder and a little card. But the main thing that I loved about Christy's project was that she used the New Horizons DSP, and she stamped on it by using some of the colours in the DSP to create a scene. And I really loved that idea, and so I cased her and made my own version, which I'm going to show you now. Okay, so here's the little box, and it's decorated on both sides, and this was created by stamping on the New Horizons Designer Series paper. And I loved Christy's idea of creating this little pull tab, because these boxes can be a little hard to open once you've made your project. So you'll see inside my little box I have the little chocolate and a card and a gift card holder, and your gift card just slides in here. There's a little gap there for it. Actually, that's moved slightly. There we go. So the main thing I really took from Christy's video and her project was using the pattern that's already on the DSP to be the background of your scene. And I don't have any left of the exact ones that I used, but I can show you with these other pieces. So for the front, I would, if I was doing another one, I would use a piece like this from the pack. And so you can see here you've kind of got your horizon line with the sort of foreground, and then you've got a row of, you could put your trees here, and then a sort of a pinky orangey sky. So what I would do is I would cut my pieces, and I'll have all the measurements on my blog post. I think that was something like 3 1/4. So I would cut a little bit off the bottom, and I would have my horizon line slightly below the center, and then the rest I would cut the length to make that my piece, and that I would then do the stamping on. And then so that's going to take, so those two pieces to do the both sides will take one sheet if you cut it through here. So then you need another sheet that you can use for the card and the wrap for the gift card holder. And so this one I think I used this on some of them. So again, you've sort of got, you could use this as your foreground because it's quite pale, and then you could have your trees going through here. So you could cut it, so this was through the center of your piece, like that, and you could use this as the foreground and that as your sky, or you could turn it and do it this way and have that as your foreground, that with your trees, and that as your sky. Do you sort of get, I think you sort of understand what I mean. So I've got some pieces that I had a couple of kits left over, so I'll show you with these other ones that I have. So this would be my front and back, and then this would be my wrap for the gift card holder, and this would be the front of the card. So that's come from the same paper. So if we start with these ones, and actually I'm going to need something underneath me. Just to do my stamping on. Right, so I just start with the trees, and I'm using the colours from the paper. So this is Evening Evergreen. So I'm just going to pop those sort of in the middle there. And the same on this one. And you can have them either side. So maybe on this side I'll do the trees. On this one over here. And let's do the grass. So on this one it's fairly straightforward. The grass is already kind of that cinnamon cidery look. I think it's actually pale papaya, but the cinnamon cider just gives that slightly more earthy colour. And then on this one I would do the same. And then I would take my blending brush and actually sponge in some of that background colour. And you'll see it just blends in because it's the colours from the paper. It just blends in. And you've now created almost the same look. And you can, if you want to, add some also to this one. There's a little bit in that corner already, but we can just enhance that by adding a bit more. And you can do this with a sponge as well, or a dauber, if you don't have the blending brushes. And then we can put some birds in the sky with Misty Moonlight. And the birds, I recommend that you actually stamp them just to make sure that they're flying, that they're up the right way. They're actually a little bit hard because some of the wings are, and they're actually in flight, and some of the wings are facing down like that one. But overall, that's the direction I think they should go in. And then this one I've got a bit more room between my trees and the sky. Actually, I'm probably going to have one going off the top. So I'm just positioning the stamp so I've got one bird is actually off the paper because it's not quite enough room to squeeze them all in on this one. And I might have less birds in this one. So we'll just put them, actually no, because I don't want them on the tree. So we'll just do that. Got a little bit of one there, but that won't matter. So that's how the scene is created using your stamps. And then for the next part, this one here, so there's less happening on this piece. It's a bit more abstract, but we can still add the same elements in. So actually I wonder if I should do it that way because it's kind of blue up there for the sky. So work with the elements that are there, and the rest of it you can build. So there's my trees. And now this time the trees look a little bit lost. There's not enough darkness behind them to anchor them to the scene, like in here. See, we've got this sort of dark moodiness happening behind the trees on both of these, but it's missing on this one. It's not quite as dark. So this is a stamp from the Oceanfront set, and it's a distinctive stamp that you can use for creating beach scenes. So this would be like sand in that set, but you can use it here or a similar one from a set that you have. There's plenty of these sort of distinctive stamps available, and I would just put that in behind. Well, you can do it before or after the trees because it's distinctive. It's lighter at the top, so we're just going to put that And I'd use the same line for your sort of horizon. And now just by adding that, you can see how the trees have transformed. They're no longer sort of floating, they're now anchored to the design, and we can add the other elements. So here's our grass, and then we'll again anchor that to the design. At the moment it looks a bit floaty, like it doesn't belong there, but as soon as you put this colour on, it suddenly looks correct, looks right. And then we'll add the birds. Now I've got much more sky this time, so we'll put all the birds on, like so. And you can, of course, you know, sponge in some more blue if you want more blue in your sky as well. Actually, I might do that. Just get looking for a dry blending brush. Had some out this morning and they're a bit wet. Okay. I love the different shades, so I'm just actually going to focus on one area and just make one part darker and then have the light on that side. Okay, so that's the card front done. And now we've got the wrap that goes around the gift card holder. And I didn't worry about the back. You're not going to see that. So I just decorated a portion through the middle. So we'll do the same thing. We'll go in now. We're going to use, which way over? Probably that way, I think, because I want some sky. So this one might be, you don't have to do the center. The wrap can wrap, you know, it doesn't need to be exactly in half. It can join on the side. So I might use this sort of lump here, although my stamp's the wrong way around. Okay, so it's just a matter of figuring out where you think the best place is. So I'm actually going to go here and add in that background one again. I might do it, no, I'm going to do it that way around because I want the darker at the bottom where the trees are. And then put this in. And by doing the same pattern like this with the grass, the trees and the birds, you're tying all the pieces together even though they're not exactly the same background. And it means you can get more use out of your paper. I did this class, made 10 kits. So it was a matter of working out which pieces I could use, that there were enough in the pack to do all 10. Yeah, that's actually up that way. Trying to get that bird on the right on the paper. There we go. Okay, so that's all the stamping. We've made all of our scenes. And now we can assemble. So let's do the card. That's nice and easy, quick. So the card front goes on the front there. Just thought I didn't have any glue there for a second. Some Tombow. like I say, all the measurements for this will be on my blog. I didn't stamp in the card because I think it's quite small, so you might be probably going to need all that space to write your message. And I also didn't put a sentiment on the box. I went to do it and just couldn't decide what really suited it. And then I thought, well, you could just leave it blank and let the scene speak to people however it needs to, really. It's kind of moody and that way you can use it for any occasion. Okay, so that's the front and the back of the box. So let's actually, I might just do the wrap and then, so the wrap is a long piece with a score line, and you just bring that up. Use your bone folder. And then your voucher card will slip down in there. And what's going to hold it all together is the wrap piece. So just position it where you want your scene to be. Go a little bit that side, and then it literally just wraps around like so. Really cute and easy. It's a good one to remember. I mean, you can tuck that into any card, and it's a lovely way to deliver your, a gift card holder. Right, so the next thing is to put these onto the box. Now, your box, when it's laying flat, you need to position one facing one way and one facing the other way, so that when it's actually made up, so this is the bottom of the box, so when it's made up, you've got your grass at the bottom on both sides. So you can turn it like that. So just center those up on the box. So I've made the one with the purple as the one that will be on the front of the box, and the darker green one is on the back. And then there's these little strips just to cover in the sides and the bottom. I'm using Evening Evergreen for this, which is I think it's probably my favorite green at the moment. It's one of the in colors. Last one. Okay, so now we need to fold all of those scores. I love these little boxes that you buy already pre-cut, and it's even got adhesive on this one, so it's all ready to go. Makes it very quick for making little gifts like this. Okay, so I've got all the lines folded. Oops, except those. Right, now just before we make it up, I'm going to do the tag. So this is the, gosh, I haven't got the name. It's one of the tag punches. I'll find the name. Just going to punch that out and then punch a hole in one end. So that's for your pull tag. Now, so when the box is closed, so that will be like that. So the pull tag will actually stick up at the front. So you want to leave that top portion with where the hole is with no glue. You're not going to glue that, that's going to stick up. So the rest of it we're going to wrap around this little tongue here that tucks inside the box. Wrap that like that and then glue it. And for speed, I think I'm going to use tear and tape. So I want a bit there. Normally I would use Tombow, but I'm just wanting it to be totally stuck quickly. And this tape is really strong. Okay, so back to how we had it. So, oops. So really I've just got to find the middle and put this tongue part into that fold line that I made. Like so. And so the tape ends up on both sides of that little tongue. And it will, you probably want to crease that fold, that extra bit. You can cut that off, or you can just leave it there. My attempts to glue it, it didn't seem to want to glue down because it gets a bit of movement with the movement of the box, but when you've glued this part and this part, it's going to be nice and firm. Do our ribbon at the end. So now you can make up the box. So those little tabs go in, and the tabs here with the tape on them go inside. And I would just do one at a time. So just peel the backing off. It's quite sticky. So I'm making sure it's straight at the bottom. That's it. And the second one should be easier. It is if you can get the backing off. Oh, I did have a little tool, it's gone walkabout. Ah, there we go. So fold that in. That comes over, making sure that the bottom is straight. Just like that. And then we can thread our ribbon through. This is the cotton ribbon that goes, now these two go inwards and that folds in like that. Then this goes from the front through the hole. So I folded it in half. It's about 4 inches long, I think. Folded it in half, and then you poke that folded part through the hole, and you have now a loop on that side, and you pass the tails through the loop, and then pull it tight. And if you do it that way from the front to the back, you get the loop cross at the front. Otherwise you get it looking like that at the front. So it's up to you, personal preference, but I prefer it that way. Then we can just trim those. They don't need to be very long. It's just to give the person that you give it to the idea that they need to pull on that tab to find out what's inside. So that's the outside all done, and we've made our card and our gift holder, so they can now go together into the box. Oops, I don't have a spare chocolate for this one, but you get the idea. And then that closes up, and it's a beautiful little gift. It actually reminds me of, I don't know if you remember, but playing cards used to come in these pretty sort of patterned boxes. And also I remember my dad having a tin that had sweets in it. I think he was using it for something else, but reminds me of that too. That's things you used to get with the pretty patterns on it, and chocolate boxes. So it's kind of got that nostalgic look to me, and I just love the way you can use your designer paper to create scenes like that and stamp on them. So I hope you've enjoyed that project, and if you're interested in buying some of the product to make it yourself, then all the details are on my website. Thanks for watching. It'll take creation, imagination, try to draw outside the line, let us see inside your mind, you'll find inspiration.